Unity, oneness of minds, feelings as among a number of persons, harmony, concord, and agreements. Hello, I'm Ernest Lowery. Welcome to the podcast Unity, a place where you can come together and understand what's happening in your community. What does the community want? It wants great schools, it wants to be self-sustaining, and it wants to take crime out the neighborhoods. Come join us at Podcast Unity. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ernest Lowery. I'm your host with the Unity Podcast. We're here, Vicky Carlisle and myself. We're here at the Delta Hotel here in Chesapeake, and we're going to be talking about a variety of subjects today. So first of all, Miss Vicky Carlisle, I'm so glad you're here today.
Thank you.
All right, so I heard that you're a CEO and owner of a company. You want to expound on that just a little bit?
Yes, I have a company called Tom's Way LLC. I have a company named Tom's Way LLC. It's a family care home for mentally and or physically handicapped adults. Usually they are the homeless ones. A lot of times it's veterans as well. So
Okay.
that's the population.
So I heard that you're trying to eradicate homelessness in the Tidewater area, not Chesapeake or Norfolk, but the Tidewater areas. So I think it's a pretty big undertaking. Are you up for that?
I am. I'm up for the challenge. I feel like God put us all here to help one another, and I'm here to do my part.
Okay, well, that's great. So how did you basically get started with this process?
Well, honestly, about 18 years ago, it was one of my younger brother's idea to start doing group homes. And I did my research, and I have my master's in psychology, so I really dug into what I could do to help. So I started with the intellectually disabled adults. Then I began to do a
Take your time.
the home health care agency. And that wasn't doing what I really wanted to do. So then I started with the family care homes.
Okay, so is that the title of your business?
That's the nature of the business, the
Okay.
family care home. The name of the company is Tom's Way LLC, after my father.
Okay, so I also understand when you talk about the time we are doing things, it's because your father was that good Samaritan, right?
Oh, yes.
You know, mom would say, "Look, Tom, how about doing this or doing that?" And
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my dad helped the neighborhood, the family. He was the go-to guy to solve whatever your problem was. He could do it all.
Okay, so right now, in the course of the business itself, how many people do you have that's in your residence? Or is it just one place, or you have multiple places?
It's multiple throughout the Tidewater area.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get a definite head count. I want to say 27 as we speak.
Okay. So what criteria do the residents have to have to get in your space or your?
Well, we gear towards the mentally and or physically handicapped adults. That's usually that fits the bill of the homeless people and veterans. Just that population mostly, because they're the ones that nobody care to really help to understand them and all that.
Okay, so is that something that the insurance pay for, or anything like that? I'm just maybe I'm
Well,
crying. You don't
not
have to answer
really.
that, but I'm just.
Not really. The insurance is just for medical, but for housing and taking care of them, not always.
Okay. So what are some of the things that the people do when they're in this residency in your home care?
Well, now we have them. We have them enrolled in day support, so they are not sitting in the house doing nothing. We try to help them keep up with their social skills. So they go to the day support, and they have different activities going on, and they congregating with other people that are like-minded or like physically as they are, so they don't feel like, what's wrong with me. They see that it's other people in the same position as them.
Okay. So in that case, how do one find out about the opportunity to come be part of your establishment? What do you have to do? How do you find out information?
Well, I have my website. That's Tom's Way LLC. You can look it up. We're on the list with the Community Service Board and different hospitals and stuff. We're on the list. It's just a matter of reaching out and asking for help. It's crisis groups that have our information as well.
Okay, now you say Tom LLC. Is there anything else?
Tom's Way.
Tom's
LLC.
Way. Okay, all right. What are some of the favorite things that the people do while they're in the residency? Do they go on trips or anything like that? Or
Yeah, we take them out on outings to museums, bowling, different community events that's going on in the area. We even have like just last weekend we had a prom for them, and they had a ball. They loved
okay.
it.
So now, just digging into this a little deeper, um, how do they get out? Or do they get out? I mean, they come to stay there forever. I'm just
Well, it's up
asking.
to them. Honestly, if they get to the point that they're independent, I'll help them get whatever they want. If they want to get their own place, sure. I want to see them grow. I don't want them to be stagnant and they're stuck there forever. If they can be able to be out on their own without any supervision of on our part, sure, we'll help them with that.
Uh, so is this also male, female scope?
Yes,
Okay.
male and female.
So they get the hair done there, get the
Oh
haircuts
yeah,
there, get
yeah,
the nails done, all that kind of
yes.
stuff.
Haircuts, you name it. Shave haircuts, you name it.
That sounds like a
We
good
even
deal.
have we even have the doctors come to the facilities to see them,
Right.
so they don't even have to go to the doctor's offices or nothing.
Okay. Um, so, what are some of the things that you worry about the most for the people that you have in your facilities?
I kind of worry that well, one of my biggest gripes is when they don't want to follow the rules, and I give them pretty many chance. I hate that I do, but I care. But when it gets to the point that it makes the other ones have behaviors, then I have to make them go. But of course, they don't want to go. They always want to come back. Always.
Now, do they have, or do you have any issues? Do they have a curfew or go
Oh yeah,
in and
yeah.
out?
We have to have curfews in each location because they are our responsibility. We don't want anybody just wandering the streets and then middle of the night the cops come in. Hey, you forgot this one. So
Mhm.
yeah.
All right, as far as eating is concerned, do you have specialty foods for them, or people have special diets? Do you
Yeah.
accommodate all
If
that?
they have certain meals that they can't eat or whatever, we do accommodate their health needs. We have the staff do all their meals. We don't have them do any cooking or anything. Our staff is qualified to do their meals, their medication managed to make sure stay on track with everything so they won't fall back to where they started.
All right, now you say you've been in this for a while. Do you feel like you're reaching your goal with the amount of people that you have for your consistency?
I don't.
Yeah.
I think I still have more work to do.
Okay. I mean, work meaning more people or
More people to help, yes, because there's so many people that need help.
right. Okay. Um, so, what type of your staff? What do they have specific jobs, or they have a certain amount of people they follow and that they need to support?
Yeah. As far as I have a house manager per house, and then I have aides that come in and help them as well. If it's more than 4 people in a dwelling, then we have more aides to come in to accommodate, so it won't be overwhelming. And that's another reason why they go to day support, so that they're not in the house just watching the walls or just looking for something to get into trouble.
Mm. So you say you have a master in psychology, is that right?
Yes.
Now, the people that come to your program, um, what is it that you look for, or how do you evaluate them, or do they tell you what their problem they have, or do you have to search for what is it that ails them?
Okay. every adult. That's why I want to go with adults, because they already have a pattern of what they will or won't do, or what they have done or whatever, and that gives us an idea if we want them to be a part of our family.
Mm.
And if they like, if they're a fire starter, or if they are very violent, then we have to be careful.
Hmm.
I don't want to endanger anyone.
Are there any other organization that come in to talk to your patients, or can you say patients, or that
Well,
as a care
residents, I call them
resident?
residents, so they
Okay,
don't feel,
right,
like they're sick.
yeah,
But we all are sick.
okay. So do other people coming from outside that talk to your group of people about any particular thing?
Well, we have mental health skill builders that come and help them. Some of them really want that individualized attention, and we make sure they have it.
Okay, so what is that you would most like to see as out of the people as they move forward, or what are some of the most interesting things that you've seen as things that's progress over time for your residents?
Well, I had this one resident, and when we got her, she was just completely out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we did an assessment on her, and ultimately we decided to just take her off of her meds for 72 hours.
Mm-hmm.
When she finally woke up, she was a whole different person,
Mm-hmm.
and she was so grateful.
Mm-hmm.
That brought me so much pleasure,
Mm-hmm.
because I actually helped someone. And when we got the doctor to finally come in and see her, the doctor said, "Y'all saved her life,"
Mm-hmm.
because she was over medicated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was just in a daze. She had no idea where she was or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Her sister, her brothers, they were so happy to see their sister again. They hadn't seen her in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
They saw her, but not her.
Mm-hmm.
So, to see progress,
Mm-hmm.
to see somebody to be more independent and
Mm-hmm.
less dependent, it was beautiful.
Well, I think based on the thing that you're saying, that your psychology training comes in handy for all the things you do, because it seems like this could be a very stressful situation. I mean, when you're trying to help people, and sometimes they'll even know what's wrong with themselves.
Yeah, that's true. They're all usually they're in denial, so
Mm-hmm.
but it's okay. And
Mm-hmm.
I just let them know, just like you have issues, we all have issues. No one is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I try to make them more comfortable with whatever the situation is.
Okay, now with that, so what does Vicky do for herself? I mean, what do you do to relax? With all this time that you spend at these events,
What do I do? I continue to help.
no downtime.
Downtime, look, like my mom said, you always going, you always going. When you gonna sit down and go to sleep? I say I sleep when I'm dead.
Oh wow. Okay, I hear you. That's a pretty good testament. But I'm sure no, none of us want that to happen, even though
No.
we have that date, right? What? Yeah, I don't want to say if you have a favorite person, but you know, I've been in charge of people in my life through my work experience, and there's always somebody I see that I just want to help just a little bit more. You have somebody like that, or
Actually, I did. I had this one guy in my ID house, and he was deaf mute, but he was such a big teddy bear.
mm-hmm.
However, about 2 years ago, yeah, matter of fact, Monday was his birthday. He had a massive heart attack and died, and that was so
Oh wow,
devastating to me.
sorry to hear
He had
that.
no family, nothing. So, just having the funeral and all that, it was like I lost one of my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I did, because he couldn't speak for himself.
It's amazing that you say that and use that as an example. I was talking to a friend a couple of weeks ago, and one thing she told me, she runs a nursing facility
Hmm.
for people who have issues such as the
Hmm.
people that you have. And she said, well, it's such a shame that some of the guys and old women coming there 45, maybe 50 years old, and they don't have nobody, and they die
Nobody.
alone.
Yes.
And said, well, some of the guys said, well, I didn't want to turn in my player's card. but now you're here all by yourself, and no one to take care of you, nobody come to see you. That's insane, isn't it?
It is. It's very sad because you watch. I had this guy. He had a throat cancer, and he had to have a trach. He has a permanent trach, and he can't really talk, and you could tell that he lived his life, and now he has to depend on someone else to care for him. His family don't deal with him, nothing. So you don't really know what he did to be alone now. Right. And you would think, okay, the family would forgive and just embrace. The family is like, no. And it's sad. It's really, really sad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Ms. Vicki Carlisle, it's been a real pleasure talking with you and give us some insights on, if I can say, mental health and taking care of your residencies, the people that need your help. And I commend you for the job that you're doing and to be bold enough and to be the straight and narrow person to go out there and help these people that may potentially be homeless and having issues with nobody to help them, and you could be that go-to person. So it's a pleasure to know that there are people like you doing these things. That again, I'm proud of you, and perhaps one of these days I'm gonna come by and take a peek myself and see exactly what you're doing.
Okay, I want you to.
You know
Come on.
All this psychology stuff you got going on.
It's all good.
But it's really good.
Yeah.
So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tuning in with us today. I'm Ernest Lowery. This is Unity Podcast here at the Delta Hotel here in Chesapeake. Thank you for sharing your time with us today. We really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Two words: journal and guide.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another podcast, Unity with Ernest Lowery. And I'm here with one of my favorite people, and this is Cynthia Brown Yearling, who's running for the city council here in Chesapeake. So I'm so glad to have you here today. So what's going on with you?
Well, I'm running for Chesapeake City Council. That is what's going on. A full-fledged campaign that's happening for this November the 8th.
Okay, so, and I know that you want to stay on message. So just kind of give me a little bit a background about why are you running for city council?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I am led by my faith. I'm led by my faith to serve the community. I grew up in the Black church, and so I was exposed to the advocacy, the community service, and so it's in me to continue to serve at this age, and that's why I'm running in addition to working in healthcare. I am a registered respiratory therapist, and so for me, I've cared for people who were in need of resources beyond the walls of the hospital. And so to have that additional help, to be out in the community, to get those resources is important to me.
Okay, so how did that kind of segue into politics? Are there issues in the health field that you're in that kind of drove you to say, well, look, I need to do more about this here, or I need to understand something better about what I'm doing on the political end of things? That kind of part of the way that gave you the footsteps to come out here?
Yeah, absolutely. So health equity is a big issue in healthcare, making sure that our Black and brown people, and actually anyone, is getting the resources that they need, being exposed to those resources, knowing what's out there, and being educated on their diagnosis or whatever they're dealing with. So that's what led into me wanting to serve on boards and commissions, as I do now. I serve on the Commission on Health and Wellbeing for the City of Chesapeake on a local level, and then on a state level, I am the chair for the Respiratory Advisory Board. So the political side and the healthcare side, it all ties together.
Okay, so personally, I think your chances are very great to get in as a councilwoman or council person. I don't know which one is politically correct, but I mean, because there are 5 seats available, right? And I've seen you out there running a strong campaign along with other folks that are doing some things. So what is it that drives you the most about wanting to be a city council person?
Simply stated, my campaign slogan is people above politics, and I am here to serve, and that is the drive behind it. I always like to tell when I meet people that their agenda is my agenda, because I'm coming to the table to advocate and be authentic for them. So that is what's driving me.
At this point in time, the elections are almost a little over a month or so away.
Yes.
Are you feeling jittery about this thing right here?
Yes, yes. If I could canvass all day, all night to go to every section, every home in the city of Chesapeake, I would. But I know there are limitations. I don't want to overwork myself. So that is why when I meet people, I try to make that connection so that they can see that I am serious about this and that I am going to do the work on their behalf.
Okay. So when you talk about moving around and getting out and door knocking and walking, what makes you feel better about what you're doing out there? When you're out and about doing your thing, because I know it's hard, laborious work. But how do you feel when you're out there? I mean.
Yeah, I feel good. I'm excited to get up and go and walk the streets of Chesapeake, regardless of what neighborhood I am in. The good thing about door knocking is that I am knocking on the door of people who want to have that conversation, to talk about issues, to talk about their concerns, and they appreciate that. They appreciate me knocking on the door, having that one-on-one time with me versus me calling or sending a generic text message to say vote for me for November the 8th. And so that's why I firmly believe that talking to people, listening to them, giving them that time is very important.
So let me ask you this. What do you think, you're out here and I know you have opportunities to talk to a lot of people one-on-one or groups. What do you see there may be a vast difference between what you believe that needs to be done and what you like to have happen versus what the people are telling you out in the street?
Okay, well, that goes back to me saying that their agenda is my agenda. Because I see and I hear what's being discussed. For me, I'm okay, because I'm here to do the work. But reading the social medias and talking to people, it's a variety of issues. I don't want to just say one issue. I don't get myself in trouble, get me in trouble up here. But there are a variety of issues that I, take home with me so that way I can study more, do the research to know how I can advocate for the people.
Okay, so are you prepared to deal with a $1 billion plus budget or when you collectively for city council that you guys have to work together on those things and the ratio between Republicans and Democrats? So I guess I wanted to say is, what is something that you feel or that you know that your constituents are saying that they really like to see happen?
So when you talk about, so let's bring it back to when you say, dealing with $1 billion budget and working with others, and then the D and the R. A Democrat or a Republican, it doesn't take that to fix a pothole. It doesn't take that to see that a community needs, new pavement, or it doesn't take that to hear, someone says, oh, well, what are we going to do with Greenbrier? What do you want to do with, the traffic? I firmly believe that I'm just one person, right? But it takes 9 people. And to find that commonality and to find the best solution for the city is what I'm all about. So whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, quite honestly, we're all independents on city council. But I know there's the backing of, political parties. But at the end of the day, it's all about being authentic, having that conversation, and being able to find the best decision.
In that vein, then, what's your preference or your ideology voting at large, like we're doing right now, versus maybe having a ward system? Do you have specifically a preference yourself?
I do not, but I do believe when you go to wards, you don't get the full representation. You isolate just a certain ward versus running at large for the whole city. I know other cities, and I have nothing against that, but I prefer to run at large because I want to represent everyone and just not a certain section.
Which is a great undertaking, because city of Chesapeake was the second largest city
Yes.
in the state, and woo-wee.
Yes, we're right up, if you look at different websites or different numbers, we'll say 249,000 some people, 250,000 some people. So it depends, what census you're looking at. But the city is growing, and I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's a beautiful thing to, yes, to have businesses to attract, all different, families to come here and live. And I also think it's good to have different businesses to support the needs that we need here to have a good livelihood.
Okay, now do you think that when you out there communicating with the people in the neighborhoods, that they may be aware or not aware that local elections is just as important as the presidential elections?
Yes.
You get a chance to speak to some of the people about that, and what kind of differences do you see when you bring that up?
Yes, well, yes, so many people do vote in presidential elections, and the common thread is, well, locals don't count, but it does, because it starts at the local level. That I always believe that when you go to the local to the state, it's a multifaceted approach, but I do hear that, and I'm hoping that with the elections moved from May to November this year, that we do get a good turnout.
Okay. All right. So, in closing, what do you want?
Well, first and foremost, I do want to be elected.
Look, you got all this stuff on
Yes.
this paper. Now, what do you want?
Yeah, I do. I do want to be elected as the next city councilwoman, and it goes to say what I've been saying from the very beginning. I am here to serve, and that is what I will continue to do, and that is what I want, is to serve.
Well, I like that slogan. I'm here to serve. And look, I seen you on multiple platforms, and I'm and that's really I like that. So, Centera, I really appreciate you coming out and fellowship with us today,
Yes.
and giving us some of your point of views. I think you've been very candid. I wish you luck on your travels and your months to come with the upcoming elections.
Yes.
And if there's anything that we can do, certainly we're willing to help.
Yes, absolutely. I will say that it is one thing that you and everyone out there watching can do, is to go to brownyearling.com to donate, to sign up to volunteer, and to just tell your neighbor about me. That is the biggest thing, is name recognition and getting my message out there.
Okay, and on that note, then you want to just give that website one more time?
Yes, brownyearling.com.
Okay, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is concluding another episode of Podcast Unity. I'm your host, Ernest Lowery, and like I said, we're out here at the beautiful patio out here at the Delta Marriott Hotel in Chesapeake. Thank you so very much for joining us, and thank my special guest for being here and taking time out of her busy schedule to be with us. It's greatly appreciated. Take care. Thank you very much.